Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome back to Tag Tuesday. I went a whole week without doing a tag. I felt a little off for like 10 days because I hadn't done a tag. Fortunately, Marc Nash tagged me to do the Dark Academy tag, so I'm going to do that tag today. Thank you, Mark. The tag was originally created by a booktuber named Emmy and by another named Caroline Marie Reeds. I'll leave links to their channels and their version of this video down below, as I will with Mark's. The idea here is about, I guess, kind of about the darker side of education, even though not all the questions are that way. And if you can tell from my kind of bright, sunny picture that I had on my thumbnail card, I'm probably not going as dark and grim as I'm supposed to go. But maybe that's because I enjoyed being in college. By the way, my alma mater, Stephen F. Austin, that's the college pictured in the picture in my thumbnail tag as well. So anyway, here we go. Enough with talking about me, as if this isn't all going to be me talking about me. So question number one, what is your favorite Dark Academy book and movie? I'm going to go with Marissa Peschel's Special Topics in Calamity Physics, which in some ways is like a slightly younger version of Donna Tartt's Secret History. They're not exactly the same, but you know, a lot of these kind of Dark Academy books kind of share some things in common, and this one does too. I was a little bit unhappy with the somewhat vague ending of the book, but I really was into it. It was really a great read. It wouldn't take you long to read it, even though it's a relatively long book, and I think most people would find it engaging. My favorite kind of Dark Academy movie, I think I'm going to go with Finding Forcer. This is a movie that stars Sean Connery as a reclusive writer who is befriended by an African-American young man who is just been accepted to an exclusive New York City prep school, not because of his academic ability, but because of his ability to play basketball. And lo and behold, we find out that this young man is in fact incredibly intelligent and a great writer. And part of it is set in kind of that world of the prep school he goes to, in which he meets, you know, incredibly condescending and somewhat evil professor teacher played by F. Murray Abraham. And I think he did a great job of the movie, as I did Sean Connery. And since Sean Connery just recently died, which I know he was controversial for some things he said, but beyond that, since he just died, I thought that would make a good choice here. Question number two, what dead poet would you like to have a drink with? I'm going to go Dylan Thomas all day. If I'm going to drink with a dead poet, I'm going to drink with one who was a professional drinker, and I think outside of poetry, drinking is what Dylan Thomas did best. I always feel guilty in saying this. I think I've answered this question this way before. It sounds terrible to say this about someone who essentially drank themselves to death, but you know, that's who comes to mind. He's dead, he's a poet, he definitely liked to drink. So, you know, it might be kind of a good time, and hopefully I could maybe turn him away from drinking whatever it was, his 54th scotch that day or something like that. Question number three, favorite painting or sculpture? I'm going to go with Rene Magritte's Time Transfixed. Actually, I have a poster of that right there, but I'll leave a picture of it over here where I've been leaving the other pictures as well. He's a surrealist painter. I live in Houston, and Houston is home to a kind of a museum that's a private collection. It's called the Menil Collection in Houston, and they have a lot of surrealist paintings. And I went to a show of paintings by Magritte there, and I just really like this picture and the idea of stopping time with the clock and the train coming through the chimney. Something about that just appeals to me, so I'm going to say that's my favorite picture. Prompt number four, favorite architectural marvel. I'm going to go with St. Paul's Cathedral in London. I have actually visited it, and I thought the view from the gallery, which I'll show here, was particularly impressive. I just think it's an impressive architectural marvel. I haven't been all that many places or seen all that many things. I'm sure there are, you know, more impressive architectural marvels, but just for sheer architecture, this is the one that I would choose. Problem number five is Shakespeare play you'd want to be the lead in. Well, the only Shakespeare character I want to play is Falstaff, and I believe the only Shakespeare play he's a lead in is The Merry Wives of Windsor, so there you go. I just love Falstaff. I know he's not a good person. I know I shouldn't admire him, but and I don't admire him, but I do think he's funny. Had to get up like 3 times in the middle of this video. Anyway, here we go. Prompt number 6. How many languages do you speak, and which would you like to learn? I only speak one language, and that's English. And if I could learn to speak a language, it would be Gaelic. I don't care if it's Scottish or Irish, or if there's a real difference there, but that would be the language I choose.
So prompt number 7 is favorite quote from a poem or from a book. That would be the last line of the Great Gatsby. So we beat on, boats against the tide, borne ceaselessly back into the past. Prompt number 8, fictional character's death. That is your ideal death, your ideal way to go, and that would be the main character from Jack London's story To Build a Fire, because he essentially freezes to death. And I've heard that hypothermia is a relatively painless way to go. This will come up here again in a minute. Prompt number 9, university or college you would like to attend. That would be the University of Edinburgh in Edinburgh, Scotland, which I have a picture of over here. Great architecture, old school, excellent university, great city it's located in, which I would like to visit, and understand there's more than a few great pubs in the Edinburgh area, so that would be really great. Prompt 11, mythology you would like to be a part of. I'm just going to go with Greek mythology here. When I was a kid, some friends of mine and I guess after getting some basics in Greek mythology in social studies class or something like that, when we were like in the 4th or 5th grade, we created the Mount Olympus Club, and we held our meetings on top of a big gravel pile on the side of a railroad track out in the woods. I know, this was actually how I grew up. And the three of us who started the club were each kind of the 3 major gods in Greek mythology. So we had a Zeus, we had a Poseidon, and I was Hades, and I sat at the bottom of the mountain. Anyway, so that would be what I would want to do, because that's the mythology, I guess, that I have the warmest feelings about. I don't really want to be a part of any group's mythology, but anyway. Prompt number 12, if you had to do a PhD, what would you want to do it in, and what subject you want to do it in? The subject I want to do it in is physics. Whether I'm capable of getting a PhD in physics is a completely different thing, but that is something I'm interested in, and that is something that would be new. And I'm not trying to sound trite or overly egotistical, but I have a master's degree in American history, and I've written and I've published and I do research and I've taught at the college level. So the things that degree would get me in that area in terms of experience, in terms of accomplishing life goals, most of those things I've already done. But a PhD in physics would open up whole new ideas of thinking to me, and it wouldn't necessarily open up new job ideas, but I think it would change a lot about how I think, and I think it would create and open a lot of areas of my mind that are not as well developed or exercised as maybe the liberal arts side. It would require me, by the way, to get an undergraduate degree in science, to root myself and to force myself to learn mathematics so that I could do the science, and I think that would be really rewarding. Problem number 13, which fictional character would you die for? Well, I don't know. You know, it's easy to say you die for a fictional character, because I guess theoretically if you were where a fictional character was, you would be fictional, and therefore your death wouldn't be real. But I'm going to go with Jane Eyre, because she's the character I like the most out of all the things I've read most recently. And you can hear me gush about Jane Eyre in several videos from last week. And then we get to the lightning round, or the rapid fire round. So question 14, leather or cloth bound books? Cloth bound. Question 15, dog ear or highlighting? Dog ear. I dog ear pages in books all the time. I don't know if you can see in my copy of the autobiography of Malcolm X, I have lots of dog-eared pages. Sometimes I have a system. If it's on one page, I dog-ear the bottom. If it's on another page of the book, I dog-ear the top. It's about to get loud because my yard man's here. So we'll just stop. Question 16, sculpture or painting? Painting. Question 17, piano or violin? Violin. Question 18, films or theater? Film. 19, poetry or prose? Definitely prose. 20, museums or bookshops? Museums. I just love museums. They're quieter. You know, I'm not a big go to the bookstore and just kind of look around for hours person, but I am that way about museums. Question 21, smell of books or coffee? Coffee all day, every day. I'm addicted to caffeine in coffee. I love everything about coffee. I love making it. I love the taste of it. I love preparing it. I love the smell of coffee. It is one of, you know, nature's perfect food substances, I guess. Question 22, fountain pen or typewriter? I would say neither, but if I had to, I'd say a pen, because a typewriter's no fun. And then, let's see, the 23, used books or new? It doesn't really matter to me, but if I had to choose one of the two and money wasn't an object, I'd choose new.
There's Ike telling me the yard man's out front. Anyway, I'm going to give up on this. Hush. I'm going to give up on this because this has been a disaster of a video making. Anyway, I'm not going to tag anybody because the tag's been around for a long time. If you want to do the tag, do the tag. Oh, and as always, look forward to your comments in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.